history of Mujra dancing in Pakistan. Mujra dance is a popular form of entertainment in Pakistan. This type of dance naturally followed Pakistan post-partition of India, with females performing the tradition. Mujra performing girls and women have different names and statuses in society, including a prostitute, tawaif, and courtesan. Mujra dancing consolidates components of classical Kathak dance with local music that includes thumris and ghazals. It also incorporates poetry from other periods of the Mughal era, particularly the reign of ruler Bahadur Shah Zafar. Mujra performances take place in traditional settings like mehfils and kothas. They also take place in theatres and halls, as well as during special events. We closely take a look at the advent of Mujra dancing, its connection with prostitution, the negative image of theatre, the famous dancers performing this art, contemporary forms, and the fraternity risks. The start of Mujra dancing. Mujra dancing traces its roots to the 15th and 16th centuries during Mughal rule. Historians believe that Mujra became a popular genre during the 18th century. The women performing regularly took on the role of courtesans amongst the royal blood of the Mughals, or rich supporters. Courtesans were on duty to perform the Mujra. Males from wealthy families had to visit the houses of tawaifs and top courtesans to learn about behavior and mannerisms. But with Mujra being a high-priced source of entertainment, only the high-class rich could afford it. A certain class of people objected to this form of entertainment because of the audacity with which these courtesans performed their acts. The red light district of Lahore, Hera Mandi, eventually became a hub for Mujra dancing. This saw a mixture of traditional singing and extravagant dancing for the elite class. Links to prostitution and sex. Differences between a courtesan, Mujra dancer, and prostitute were not very clear when the British came. However, over time, Mujra dancing and sex became linked, as Hera Mandi became a place of immoral and dishonourable actions. With the passage of time, mothers passed down Mujra to their daughters. Dancer Rima Kanwal recalls the glorious times.
People used to respect the prostitutes of Hera Mandi. We were called artists. But all has changed over the last decade. Now we don't have any honor.
Rima comes from a family of prostitutes, with her mother and grandmother also once in this profession. Hence, she had to follow in their footsteps, dancing and satisfying men in Hera Mandi. In Hera Mandi, the dancers will rhythmically move and sing for their customers. The punters will shower the dancers with money. With historic traditions fading away, girls are less reliant on musicians and teachers who had music shops in old Hera Mandi. The early dancers used to cover themselves. Their dupatta was pinned up in a fashionable way as they danced with harmonious and skillful moves to the tabla, harmonium, and sitar. However, according to music shop owner Soal Ali, times have changed.
They take a USB, or sometimes they don't even need that. They have songs in their cell phones, they plug in a cable and play the music. All they do is wear fewer clothes, use 2 or 3 moves that require their body parts to move frantically and become demanding.
theatre and vulgarity. Following the rule of General Muhammad Zia-ul-Haq, Mujra girls made a return by continuing their business under different levels of state policing. In her book, Impossible Desires, Queer Diasporas and South Asian Public Cultures, Gayatri Gopinath explains how Hindi-Urdu language cinema became engrossed with the portrayal of a classic Mujra girl, idealizing her victimization. Whereas previous Western depictions on the topic displayed the post-partition Mujra girl as a sex worker to be saved by illustrating the colonial analysis of the institution. Having said that, the dynamic of Mujra changed, and they do not solely take place at kotas. Unlike the stage plays of the 80s, later theatre became a hub for vulgarity. During extempo performances, explicit dialogues and vulgar dances became the norm. The late playwright Madiha Gauhar told Dawn how this period of vulgarity was dangerous for women.
Vulgarity is just not vulgar dances. It's all about developing attitudes. It's a strange kind of theatre where women are insulted and taken for granted. Such an insult of women develops anti-women attitudes that further lead to violence against them.
Males, in the form of producers, writers, directors, and even audience members, control this business, along with seeking pleasure from it. Popular dancers. There are several names who became popular Mujra dancers. Nargis, who tops the list, began her career in the 90s. Her performances consisted of classical dance moves, including some highly sexual components. Her Mujra performances made Nargis the highest-paid artist from Lahore. Nargis was no longer active in the Mujra dancing scene. The younger sister of Nargis, Deidar, was also a standout Mujra artist in the country. With a figure that was slimmer and thinner than others, Deidar had an enormous impact. This beauty was successful with her colourful moves and style. The Lahore-based artist was a regular entertainer at numerous big shows and stage occasions. Megha and Reema Jan were also very popular dancers from the 90s era. She not only seduces people with her performance, but also through vulgar language and abusive comments. The male community is a fan of her vulgar jokes. Speaking about surviving in the industry, Mujra powerhouse Afreen says,
"We navigate a man's world in female bodies. This requires masculine behavior for survival."
Mujra dancer Mehak Malik is also famous for her Mujra dancing. There are many rumors surrounding her. She apparently is a she-male dancer who charges a high price for carrying out a performance. Modern Mujra dancing and digital apps. Mujra dancing, which traditionally took place across shabby private cabins and rooms of Hera Mandi by prostitutes, has taken more modern roots. Firstly, Mujra continues to take place on stage at commercial and low-level theatres across Punjab. The majority of the dance moves are sexual, suggestive, and provocative. The women with very little clothing symbolize vulgarity. Mujra dancers normally dance to Bollywood tunes and seductive Pakistani melodies. Moreover, they charge huge sums of money, particularly for new and young ladies. Modern Mujra dancers in Pakistan also showcase their skill at events, often performing to a more contemporary form of mudra alongside popular local music. It is also traditional for Pakistani men to throw paper currency over women who perform mujra dancing at these events. Violence and risk factors. Whilst mudra dancing can bring fame, money, and a luxurious lifestyle, mudra dancers are always on the edge of the sword, with their lives at risk. There is no acceptance for such girls in Pakistan. They are often just used and abused by a male-dominated society who tend to throw them out in the darkness of the grave. Men with equipped firearms forcefully disrupted a performance featuring Afreen. As a result, Afreen faced harassment after the audience was forced to leave. Afreen says she had to head for Lahore following the incident.
That was the moment I decided to leave my town and move to a bigger city, Lahore, for work.
History suggests that Pakistani working-class women from the entertainment industry have had to endure such violence. In the early 2000s, Nargis was beaten and had her head shaved off by local goons from Lahore. Local gangsters shot Saima Khan in the leg following her refusal to perform a mudra dance in 2007. Mudra dancer Hani Shahzadi's house was attacked by an ex-boyfriend, resulting in the loss of her sister-in-law and bodyguard. The ex-boyfriend of Kismet Baig shot her in the palms and legs after she was pulled over outside her house in 2016. After receiving more than 11 shots, she passed away in hospital. Despite the violence and no one fighting the corner of dancers, mudra dancing remains a popular form of entertainment in Pakistan. With technology and other platforms, mudra dancing in Pakistan will continue to evolve.
DESIblitz.com